Hello, my name is Mrs. Overish, and this is Math Mania for 1st and 2nd graders. I am so glad you're here today. Let's learn something new in math. Today, we are going to be talking about adding two-digit numbers using expanded form. All you need today is a piece of paper and a pencil. Let's go over our I can statement. It says, I can add two-digit numbers by putting the numbers in expanded form. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about putting numbers in expanded form. Does anyone remember what putting a number in expanded form means? Yeah, it's showing the value of each digit in a number. So when we're putting a number in expanded form, we're just showing the value of each digit. So right here, I'm going to write showing value, because that's all we're doing. Showing value in digits. So we're going to be adding numbers, which we know is combining or putting together. Combine, put together. So I can combine or put together or add two-digit numbers by putting the numbers in expanded form, or putting the numbers where we see their value. In math, we use different math tools. Today, we're going to be using really just our piece of paper, our pencil. I'm going to be using my board. I'm going to be using what we call an anchor chart or another graphic organizer to help us organize our different steps in our problem. And I'm also going to be using our number line to help us with some of those simple addition questions as well. So since we're going to be adding two-digit numbers today using expanded form, I think it's important that we review expanded form. So when we put numbers in expanded form, we're showing the value of each digit. So when I say the number 52, I know that I have a 50 or a 5 in the tens place, which we know really is 5 tens is 50, and 2 or 2 ones. So I have some flashcards here today, and I'm going to hold them up, and I want you to quickly see if you can tell me that number in expanded form when you see it. So here was my example, number 52. And how do we put the number 52 in expanded form? That's right, 50 plus 2. Let's try another one. We have the number 39. What number do you see in the tens place? What number do you see in the ones place? What do you hear when you say 39? That's right, this number in expanded form is 30 plus 9. Got the number 71. 71. This number in expanded form is 70 plus 1. Ooh, trying to trick you here. What about the number 88? 88. How do we put this in expanded form? It has the same number in both places. Just because it's the same number doesn't mean that they have the same value. Our number 88 in expanded form is 80 plus 8. And we have the number 19. This one's tricky because you don't hear the tens place when you say the number 19. When we put this in an expanded form, we have 10 plus 9. All right, and then one more. We have the number 40. When we think about putting this in expanded form, I don't really see a number in the ones place other than 0. So that's how we represent it in expanded form. 40 plus 0. Nice job. I think you guys are ready to add numbers using expanded form. When we add numbers using expanded form, we have to use a lot of steps. And sometimes when we're using a lot of steps, it can get really confusing. And sometimes it's hard to remember each step. But if we skip a step, it's going to mess our whole problem up. So I put all of our steps on a chart for us today so that we make sure we don't forget any of them. So I'm going to go over them, and then we're going to practice one all together. So our first step is to stack. And I always tell my students when we stack up our work, it's really just make sure that it's going to be really neat and nice when we're at the end of it. We also have step 2, which is identify. We can identify our tens and our ones place by putting a square around them or a circle. We can highlight them, or you can even just identify them right up here in your noggin, as long as you know what number is in the tens place and what number you know is in the ones place. And identifying really helps us with our next step, which is expanding. So when we expand our two numbers, it's really important that we know our tens and our ones. And then step 4 is going to be adding. And we're going to add our ones place and adding our tens place together. And then the final step is a super duper tricky mathematical term, and it's the word squish. I always get really excited when we're at this final step, because what we do is our answer ends up in expanded form and we get to just answer. Let's try one together so you can see these steps in action. The first problem we're going to try together today is 46 plus 21. Now, our first step says to stack it up. And this step might seem kind of silly, but really it helps keeps our work really neat and nice, especially when we're first trying out adding using expanded form. So I'm going to stack up my work. And when I stack it up, I'm really just making sure my tens and my ones are sitting on top of each other. So now that my work is stacked up, I know that I have completed step 1. Now let's go to step 2. It says to identify. Well, for today, since that's our first time, I'm going to put a blue square around our tens place and a red circle around our ones place. And that's going to really help us with expanding and making sure all of our numbers are in the right place. So I see a 4 in the tens place in the number 46, a 2 in the tens place in the number 21, and a 6 in the ones place in the number 46, and a 1. So I see right here already I have my 10 stacked on top of each other, my 1 stacked on top of each other, and my work is looking really neat and nice and ready to go. And now I have completed step 2, which is to identify. Step 3 says to expand. Now I'm going to put both of these numbers in expanded form. So I have the number 46. Well, I see I have 4 tens. I know that 4 tens is also the number 40. So we have 40 plus the number in my ones place, so plus 6. Now I've put this number in expanded form. It's in line. Everything's looking neat and nice and ready to go. Then I have the number 21. I have a 2 in the tens place. 2 tens is 20. Plus my number in the ones place, which is a 1. So now I have put both of my numbers in expanded form. I have already completed step 3. We are moving right along. Step 4 says to add. Okay, now let's look at this problem and see what really are we adding together here. Well, when I add, I want to make sure I have my addition sign coming down. I know this is what I'm going to do. We're first going to add together our ones place. So I see my ones place. I have 6 plus 1. This number is in my ones place. I remember that from where I circled it over here. So when I add 6 plus 1, I can look at my number line. I have 6. I'm adding 1 more, which is 7. So 6 plus 1 is 7. Now let's add together our tens place. I have 40 plus 20. I could count up 40 and then 2 more tens, 50, 60. I could also look at this and just look at the tens place because I know my 0 is going to stay the same. So I can also look at this as 4 plus 2. So I have 4 plus 1, 2 equals 6. So bring it down. 4 tens plus 2 tens is 6 tens or 60. So now I have finished adding. And my last step, the super mathematical step, is to squish it together. So my answer is right here. It's just sitting in expanded form. And I love squishing my numbers together because sometimes we would look at 60 plus 7 and think, oh my gosh, that's a really big number. That's a really hard addition sentence, when really all we have to do is squish it together. We squish our ones into the tens, and we have 67. Woo! And we have finished squishing. Now, you might be sitting at home thinking, this is overish. That seemed like a lot of steps for a two-digit addition problem. But let me tell you, when you do your addition this way, you're really learning and understanding what's behind each number. And it's going to help you out when you get to really big, long numbers or when you do multiplication or division. So it's really important that we have that number sense and really understand what's behind our numbers. All right, let's do another one. This time I want you to get out a piece of paper and a pencil and do it along with me. All right, the problem we're going to do is 53 plus 44. Can you go ahead and write that on your piece of paper? I want you right now, I'm going to go through the steps a little bit slowly still, but I want you to see if you can work ahead of me. And when I get to that final squish step, I want you to see if you can be finished. All right, here we go. 53 plus 44. Step 1, stack it up. Okay, all right, I'm going to stack up 53 plus 44. It's kind of a weird 4. There we go. 53 plus 44. I finished step 1, which is stacking. Step 2, I look at my picture. I know I need to identify my next step. So I'm going to put a box around my tens place, a circle around my ones place. So if I put a box around my tens place, in the number 53, I know I'm going to put a box around 5. And in the number 44, I know I'm going to put a box around the 4. This is nice because I see my tens are already stacked up and on top of each other, ready to go. Then I have a 3 in my ones place and a 4 in my ones place. Now I have officially identified the tens and the ones. So that makes it really, really nice and easy when I'm ready to expand, which is the next step. So if I want to expand the number 53, I see I have a box around my 5 in my tens place. So 5 tens is 50, plus the circled number, which is a 3 in the ones place. Then I have the number 44. I see I have a box around my 4. 4 tens is 40, plus a 4 in the ones place. Now I have finished expanding both two-digit numbers. I think I'm ready for my next step, which is to add. First, I'm going to add the numbers in my ones place. I have a 3 plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 plus 4 equals 7. Now I can add together my tens. It's going to be 5 tens plus 4 tens. 5 tens plus 1, 2, 3, 4 tens is 9 tens, or 90. Now that I've added, I get to do my final step of squishing, and I get to squish it together. My 7 takes over my ones, and now I have 97. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Is that the answer you got? Were you able to get there before me? If not, that's okay, because this is a lot of steps, and this might be your first time trying it this way. All right, here's the word problem. My dog, Rosie, was given 37 tennis balls. It's a total dream of hers. 37 tennis balls. Then she went in the backyard, and she saw 12 more tennis balls. Can you believe it? So she was given 37. She went outside and there were 12 more tennis balls. So how many tennis balls does she have in all? What's that problem that we're going to stack up together? 37 tennis balls. 12 more outside. How many does she have all together? I want you to start your problem by stacking up 37 plus 12. Now, can you go through the steps on your own? Can you identify the tens and the ones place? Can you expand both of these two-digit numbers? Can you then add them together? And then can you squish it all together at the end? I really, really think you can do it. Take your time. Do your best to do every single step. And then at the end, you'll be so excited because you will now know how to add two two-digit numbers using expanded form. Something a lot of people can't say they can do, which is really cool now you know how. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for coming. This is Math Mania. My name is Mrs. Overish, and I will see you next week.